Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Bill. We're going to be in the Fantasy Trip in the Labyrinth book for this video. We're going to go over IQ 17 spells. So without further ado, let's dive in and see what spells are available for a mage of an IQ 17 or higher. Blast Trap. An object prepared with this spell will explode under someone's condition set by the wizard when he casts the spell, exactly as for expunge below. There may be only one triggering situation per spell, though an object may have more than one blast trap on it. The force of the blast depends on the mana put into the spell. For 6 mana, a wizard can produce a blast doing 1d6 plus 1 damage to anyone in the hex with the object. For 12 mana, he can set a blast which will do 2d6 plus 2 to anyone in the hex and 1d6 damage to anyone in the adjacent hex. For 24 mana, he can enchant an object to explode for 3 dice damage to anyone in the same hex, 2 dice damage for anyone adjacent to the hex. The detect traps ability will not detect this spell, but the spell to detect enemies will. So that's interesting. Since this is not a create magic item spell, the cost to cast it does not vary, whether other spells are on the object or not. This spell lasts only a day. It must be recast. Blast Trap can only be used on relatively small, no more than 20-pound objects. When the item explodes, it is totally destroyed. Any exposed flammable items in the affected hexes will also catch fire unless the holders make a 3 dice, 3d6 saving roll against dex. Cleansing. This is a thrown spell. This spell will kill all small life forms, disease germs, vermin, etc. within the specified area. Up to 7 connected hexes may be cleansed with one spell at a mana cost of 20 per hex. This spell will make moldy food safe to eat, cure a plague victim, vampire, or werewolf, or kill off the lice in your garments. It will not affect poisons or make something inedible good to eat. It does 1d6 of damage to each living being within the area, which of course kills small things very thoroughly. Unfortunately, the spell always puts 1 die of damage even on the individuals the wizard does not want to injure. So there is a risk involved when a very weak individual is cured this way. So somebody with the plague, maybe one of your players being swarmed by a bunch of rats. And Diamond Flesh. This is a thrown spell, like Iron Flesh, but even harder in both senses. Stops 8 damage per attack. Costs 4 mana to cast, plus 1 per turn it is maintained. Dissolve Enchantment. It's a thrown spell. This spell will de-enchant a person or object of any one spell on it, except the spell shield. It is usually used to remove a curse or other malign spell from an object, but can also be used by a foe to take a good spell off of one of your enchanted items. However, the mana cost is very high. 100 if the spell was placed on the item by the greater magic item creation spell, and 50 if it's by the lesser magic item creation spell, staff, exploding gem, etc. The dex and damage bonus on enchanted weapons and armor may also be removed by the spell at a cost of 50 mana. If you need this spell to take a curse off an object, you will probably have to go to the Wizards Guild, since it takes several wizards in cooperation to provide the necessary mana. Expunge. An expunge spell may be cast on any already enchanted object. A certain condition is set under which expungement will occur. A goblin picks up that object is the example. Any condition may be set, as long as it could be detected by someone next to the enchanted object. For instance, An expunge spell could not be set to act when the king of a faraway city sneezed. It could be set to act when someone in the same room with the object sneezed. If and when the condition is met, the expunge spell acts, erasing the enchantment on the object. The expunge spell also vanishes. A detect magic spell will detect expunge, and an analyze magic spell will tell what it is. Of course, if the expunge spell was set to act when analyze magic was cast on the item, the investigator has gained little. It is possible to set an expunge spell to erase one, some, or all of the spells on an object. Only one expunge spell may be cast on an object. It counts as one of the 5 permissible spells. The expunge spell may have up to 5 separate triggering conditions, never more. This is an excellent spell for keeping powerful items out of the wrong hands. Its mana cost is always 125 per day for 3 weeks, with no spell ingredients needed, no matter how many spells are on the object already. So, if nothing else, it's a very steep cost. Because remember, your mana is equal to your strength score of your character, so you're going to need magical means to store enough mana to cast something like that, or help from the Wizards Guild where you can pull resources together to get enough mana. Geese. A geese is a command to do or not to do a certain thing. A wizard who has the spell may lay a geese on any figure just by talking to him. No dex roll required. The victim gets a saving roll, 4d6 against IQ. A wizard may only attempt a given geese once ever on any figure, and a figure may have only one geese at a time on him or her. Example of a geese might be not to touch a weapon for a year and a day, or to go about on a quest for a certain thing and bring it to the wizard, or to attack all wizards on sight. Analyze magic will detect a geese. Only a wish or dissolve enchantment will remove it. Mana cost to cast a geese is 10. So it's not a high cost to cast it, but you can only ever target one person with that geese one time yourself. Insubstantiality. It's a thrown spell. The subject of this spell is rendered temporarily out of phase with the rest of the universe. It appears as a dim, foggy shape. No physical weapon, attack, or missile spell can affect the insubstantial figure, but thrown-type spells can. An insubstantial figure moves at only 1 hex per turn, but can pass through any solid object at the same speed, or can go up or down as at 1 labyrinth level, about 15 feet, every 3 turns. An insubstantial figure can use thrown and creation type spells even while moving, but cannot use other spells or personally make a physical attack on other figures, whether the other figures are physical or insubstantial. Thus, combat involving insubstantial figures is purely magical. Insubstantial figures can be heard dimly if they speak. Some kinds of creatures, notably wraiths, are naturally insubstantial. A figure which becomes solid in the middle of another solid object dies, and so does that other object if it was alive. Costs 4 mana to become insubstantial, and 2 each turn the spell is continued. Remove cursed object. This spell, it's a thrown spell. This spell may be considered a temporary version of dissolve enchantment. It suppresses a curse or other spell on an obnoxious magical object for just long enough to allow the wearer to put it down or take it off. If you have been invigiled into picking up a sword that reduces your dex, putting on a helm of stupidity, or donning a ring which geeses you to sing bawdy songs at the top of your voice, this is the spell you need. I like all those visual descriptions. It costs 20 mana to cast. You can usually get it done at a Wizards Guild for a mere 500 silver coins. If you don't have the money, they will do it for free, but they keep the object after it is removed. This spell makes no permanent change in the magical nature of an object. And the normal money for In the Labyrinth, if this is the first video you've watched, is silver coins are the main currency. So if you've played D&D where gold's the main currency, in this game it's silver. Staff 5, also known as Staff of Mastery. Like Staff 4, except that the mana stat of the staff may be raised by spending XP up to twice the wizard's IQ, and its cult damage is increased to 1d6 plus 2. The Staff of Mastery still does 3 dice damage if picked up against the owner's will, but it does not explode. So you still have the staff there. That's cool. Spell Sniffer. Now, this is a cool one because my friend Dan used to have a deck of many things that he handcrafted for this game, and one of them was Gold Sniffer, or Treasure Sniffer. You'd be able to detect treasure if you got that ability. So this is a thrown spell. This spell gives its subject a combined reveal, detect, and analyze magic ability that covers everything within 5 hexes. When this spell is successfully cast, the GM makes 2 rolls against the subject figure's IQ for each spell or magic item within range. On a successful 3 dice roll against IQ, the spell/magic item is detected. If it is detected, the GM makes a 4d6 roll to see whether it is analyzed. A successful 4 die roll means the spell item is understood as per analyzed magic. If a figure or item has several spells on it, a separate roll are made for each spell. A figure using this spell will know if he makes his 3 die roll that an illusion or image has magic about it, and will also know if he makes his 4 die roll that it is an illusion or image, as the case may be. Conceal, of course, impedes this spell just as it impedes analyze magic. Cost of this extremely powerful and useful spell is 2 mana to cast, plus 1 each turn it is maintained. Okay, this one's probably the most dangerous spell in the game I'm about to go over. Summon Demon. It's a conjuration spell. Allows a wizard to summon a 3-hex greater demon. The demon will do one of 4 things. Fight for 12 turns and disappear, which is 1 minute, I believe, in the Labyrinth. Its strength is 100, its dex is 14, and its IQ is 11. It does 4d6 damage in bare hand-to-hand combat and may use any weapon. Its skin stops 4 damage per attack. Its second possible use is it grants 1 greater wish. See wishes. Its third possible thing is it gives a truthful answer to 1 question if that question can be answered with 1 word. And then the 4th thing, it performs 1 service. The service is up to the game master. Legitimate service includes transporting the wizard and his party up to 10 people to another place, bringing the wizard some known object from a known place, etc. The demon can transport itself instantaneously, but if it has to fight or search for more than 12 turns, it will vanish rather than finishing the job. Also, demons are perversely literal-minded. Remember the famous exchange. Wizard: demon, make me a milkshake. Demon: zap, you are a milkshake. So you got to be very careful if you're doing the wish part on how you word it. The GM acting for the demon may be as obtuse and difficult as he wishes in conforming to the letter of a wizard's instruction, but precisely worded instruction should be followed precisely. However, the time it takes to instruct a demon counts against the 12 turns, that is 1 minute, that it will stay. The other catch in summoning a demon is that 1, it takes 10 undisturbed turns to finish the summoning. Any disturbance costs the wizard 1 mana and forces him to start over. 2, if the wizard fails his dex roll at the close of the summoning, the demon will attack, which makes a pentagram a good life insurance. 3. If the wizard demands a wish from the demon, he must win a contest of IQ against the demon's IQ. And the demon's IQ was 11, just to remind you. Or the demon will attack. Demons will not cast spells while in our plane. They are highly magical, but don't use magic as we know it. The mana cost to summon a demon is 30. So with all those downsides, remember, summoning a demon can be bad. Now the final spell that's out of the IQ 17 spells is the Little Death. It's a throne spell. This spell puts its subject into a suspended animation closely resembling death. There is no breath, no thought, and no heartbeat. Therefore, wounds don't bleed. The only way to tell the figure is alive is to discover through Analyze Magic that this spell is being used. A figure can cast this spell on itself or another. It costs only 1 mana for a figure to voluntarily enter the Little Death. But the figure will lose 1 mana every day until it's truly dead or until the spell is removed. So 1 hit point every day until it's truly dead or the spell is removed. Through Dissolve Enchantment or Remove Throne spells to remove this. A figure cannot voluntarily leave the Little Death. The mana cost to cast Little Death on another is 4 if the subject is willing or unconscious. Otherwise, the cost is 10. Again, the subject will lose 1 hit point per day until he or she dies or the spell is removed. This spell is useful for preserving the life of a badly wounded friend. An ingenious wizard will find many other applications. And that ends the IQ 17 spells. IQ 18 spells is going to be like half as long as this video. Same thing with 19 and 20. And those videos will be a lot shorter, in other words. So, hope you all enjoyed that. If so, share it with your other gaming friends and game masters, especially if you're interested in playing the Fantasy Trip in the Labyrinth by Steve Jackson Games. If you have any comments or found any spells very intriguing, put them in the comments below. Until we all game again, guys.